Alright everybody, welcome back to the moth-hawk project. So today we're gonna be doing the part where we're gonna be drawing into the line again. So we're gonna be doing this part right here. And let's hope that is gonna be working quite well. Oh, yikes. My voice is not always that good at craggy, but oh well. Really? Really, you're stuck on... Alright, well. Keyboard was a little bit stuck. Doesn't matter really, but yeah, keyboard was a little bit stuck, so that is a problem. That was a problem. Alright, first things first, we need to get the pencil done, so we should go over here. Get number 1 pencil, get to 3.6. So we have that. Yes. Alright. So that now works properly. Now we should go for black, and then that is how we're gonna go get the parts that we need. Yes. Alright. So as you can see, we have done already a part of it. Now we only need to get everything done, and then that should be fine. Alright, let's get started. So first things first, we need to get rid of that, because I need to look at this. And I need to know the drawing part. So this part right here. And go fully upwards, like so, and then that should be the end of it. So we should definitely remove this so that we can see stuff. And right over here we should definitely go for something like this. Right. There you go. Alright, and then that should be the last bit right here. Get that one. Up there till here. And then move this one around, so this should be like so. And then that part should be like so, yes. Alright. So, yeah. As you can see, we're trying to get all the stuff done for the drawing part, and that should be fine. Well, at least, you know, it should be fine in the first place anyway. I'm quite impressed upon how far this is all going, so it's doing quite well. I wasn't expecting this to be that much of a problem to be. Well, the problem is not there, so that's why I'm quite surprised. Alright, now we should definitely get the lines and drawing in. No. There you go. right. Like that. Now if we now cancel out this one, we can now see everything, so that's good. Alright. This should be fine. You know, all the stuff that I need to do in the first place, and then this is gonna be just, you know, casually drawing anyway. But it's important. Nonetheless. Alright. There you go. And we can add the stuff that we want later on, but first we need to get the big lines up and running. So once this thing is fully designed, I'll be quite happy. And as you can see, this takes time, lots of time. Ja.
Die zonnepanelen. Ik heb hieronder staan, hier op de computer.
Ja.
Oh, sorry, dat is natuurlijk niet. Sorry.
Ja, vertel.
Nee, je bent live, of niet?
Ja, dat maakt toch geen bal uit. Kom, vertel.
Nee, wel live, straks.
Oké, tot dan.
Tot dadelijk.
Die. Well, that happens. Casual interruption anyway. Let's see. So yeah, since that we have this wood to be precisely drawn, well, not fully precisely, but we need to make sure that it does look nice. We need to make sure that everything here does make sense once we're getting towards the part where we need to be. And as you can see, we can go for always the same lines, but we don't want that, since that would be horrible. And since that we don't want to go for all the same lines at all the time, we're gonna make some changes, adjustments, and all that stuff in this part. Right there. We're gonna add some more lines there and there, and that should fix the problem, right? Yeah. So, since we're doing this quite nicely and steadily, there's no need to overstress or overwork. It's just casually drawing lines, getting those lines up and running properly, and then go from there on. Just try to focus on how you do it steadily, so that all the lines make sense. You want all the lines to be overlapping anyway, but you don't want all the lines to be the same size or length. You do want to have some variety in the line arts, so you just want to have some variety, like short lines, thick lines, thin lines, which creates this effect of, you know, being that looks like timber. At least, you know, that's how I do it, most likely. So yeah, as I said before, tomorrow and the day after that, Friday, I won't be able to get the moth-hawk done because, well, tomorrow I will have gym, and then the day after that, we're probably gonna be visiting my little sister. So yeah, that's not gonna be a very short journey because, well, you know, she lives literally 3 hours from here. So yeah, it's a bit difficult sometimes to get to people. So yeah, I hope you guys already enjoying this, and I should definitely do the Temtem at a Saturday instead of a Sunday, because Sunday I'm gonna have D&D. So yeah, that's also a thing that I need to realize. I have a busy schedule, and that's fun, and that's fine. The main thing I'm now a little bit stressed out of is, like, you know, what how things are gonna go, how things are gonna roll once we're going to the once I'm gonna go next upcoming week. Yeah, upcoming Monday. The job coach is gonna come, and he's gonna introduce me to some new person that, you know, is gonna be taking his shift over. And I need to learn a lot. I need to know a lot of, like, what am I dealing with, and I hope that the how do you say that? Expenses of traveling is gonna be fixed. Yeah, that's what I want to be compensated for my traveling, because, you know, $40 each week is a lot for traveling. Of course, you know, it should be normal that you need to pay $40 to travel, but still, it's expensive, and we don't want to be very expensive in that aspect. That's why, you know, I'm asking my job to pay it for me, so I can just, you know, do casually be like, oh well, no, if I'm $40 richer, well, that's actually a lot, because it's 4 times 4, which means 120 euros each month that are just spent on movement, which I could spend on something else, like buying an ice cream, for instance. And I would like to have that, even though it might be a little bit late. It's autumn already, but yeah, having ice cream is a really good way of celebrating. So yeah, probably gonna eat myself some Chinese. Probably gonna eat some Chinese after on Tuesday. Yeah, probably gonna get some Chinese on Tuesday. And I need to make sure that tomorrow I need to have some food with me. So before I go, I need to make sure that I get some food. I'm still thinking about, you know, buying some chocolate instead of, you know, casual food, because I really like chocolate. It's one of those things that, you know, you can eat. It doesn't feel too much of a it doesn't create too much of a hassle, and it's a quite easy thing to get anyway, right here, at least in my country. Chocolate is, like, very easy to get to, and the chocolate that you get is phenomenally good. So I really like that. The only downside is that, you know, it's chocolate, so it should be not that expensive, right? That's true, but when you don't have the expensive chocolate, then, well, you know, the taste of the chocolate might be a little bit more on the lesser side. All right, so that is a thing. Let's see. Well, here there are some problems, some issues that need to be solved to get from point A to point B. There you go. That should fix the things that I was worried about, and then this should be also a little more experienced. Creates variety in the texture, which is important. Of course, I'm not trying to do it fully, because, you know, that doesn't make any sense, but it does make things look nice. Alright, now we're gonna look for the next part. Since that we switched it up like that, we're gonna go right over here, And we're gonna go back to this part. Yes, this part. Now we're gonna do the other part here. And why did we not do this right? Why do we do it right now instead of, you know, before this? It's because it creates more. It gives more effect to it once we're since we're doing this on the part that we need to do. All right. So how far do we need to push it upwards? We need to push it upwards till that line. All right. Thank you. Thank you, and I'm gonna close you down again. It's really helpful, you know, just seeing where and how things are gonna go anyway. Interesting, so we should go for this kind of effect. Like a big giant bubble. And the bubble is gonna be like so. So it's probably gonna have something like this inside of it, which then creates these kind of lines through it. Alright, now we've done that, we can now reliably say that that is a thing. We already did that, so how do we want to do this now? We want this part, and we want this part to be there. There is no good reason why I should go for that. But we could go for it. We could go for something like that, but then we need to make sure that this part right here is eagerly fetched. So it should be like this. Yes, like that. And then that would fix this part, and we can put this part like that. Yes, awesome. And then right here, and then we can get this part right here. And then we can get this part also right here. And we have like a big giant thing, so we can get that up and running like so. So these are knots, like big giant lumber nuts. So these are like the big giant parts that have been withered down to just trunks. And we do want that, so that's why I'm doing it right now. Alright, so we have that part, and then we need to get over here and do the same. Now we need to look at where this is going. This is going to be going like that. And then we have like a big opening part, so we should definitely move something here to make it interesting. Yeah, that makes it interesting. Now, since that we have one knot, two knots, then definitely there should be another knot right over here somewhere. So we're gonna go over here, making the knot happening like so, and then go for this kind of effect and get it downwards. Yes, lovely. Definitely should slow it down quite on size, and we should definitely remove that line because it will be seenable, and we want to make it seamless. So there you go. Now that's more like it. So we have now this. But no, we don't want a blue. We don't want blue here right now. And we should then definitely move this upwards like so. Can we even try it to fuse this with this part? Yeah, we can do that. But it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, does it? No, it doesn't, but we can make it look sense. We can make it scene full, so we should add that part right in with it. And that should fix the problem that we have in the first place. Alright. Of course, it is a little bit more less. Of course, this is a little bit less than what we did all the time, like, you know, drawing the lines and then make them up. But we need to have this because otherwise we cannot get variety in our bark skin. And we need variety in our bark skin to make it realistic. Oh well, you know, semi-realistic. It creates the feeling of bark skin. That's the main idea. We want the feeling of bark skin, so therefore we should definitely add the variety of certain ways of how we do things. But we should not do it all the time because otherwise things look out of whack. And out of whack can be very fun and very nice, but not for the purpose that we are doing it for. So, let's see, we just want this to be there and there, and then we can add that towards there, yes. So yeah, as I said before, it's very important to have the out of whack, it's very important to have not the out of whack scenario, because if that happens, then well, you're gonna be diverting the eyes of the main thing that you want to show. So you want to see the bird, you don't want to see the tree, so that, well, you want to see the tree, but you want to see the bird more standing out. So therefore, you should definitely not make it obvious that you look at a tree and you're like, wow, that tree looks beautiful, and then you don't see anything else. That's to prevent that from happening. We're gonna make sure that we don't do everything out of whack. We're gonna keep it like, well, fascinating, but we don't want to make it too fascinating. Oh well, not too fascinating. We don't want it to stand out that much that it overrules everything else. Yes, better wording. There you go. English, one of those languages that I still don't have mastered most of the time because, well, my English speaking, I'm not native to the language, therefore, you know, it's a little bit difficult. I'm trying to improve, don't get me wrong there. And that's why I'm very helpful upon everybody that, you know, just speaks to me in English, because then I know exactly like, well, this and that and this. I just need, and I have like, you know, once I'm in my own country where, you know, I just go outside and I see like people talking. And people talk my language, it's like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a little bit more different. The language, the Dutch language, you know, it's a little bit more difficult to understand, and not everybody understands you when you're speaking Dutch. But it does have its own very nice things with it. Some things are like quite easy to understand, other things are like a little bit more difficult to understand. But for instance, if you take French, then I have zero clue what people say in French. Even though, you know, I technically should be able to technically I should be needed to learn it because, well, we have Belgium on the border, therefore we need to learn French as well. But I was never interested in that because, well, one of those things that I don't like about French is how to pronounce, with all the pronunciations with it. It went a little bit wacky, and I don't like that. It doesn't have the same thing as German, because German pronunciations are quite easy to understand. I understand what people say in German, but I don't speak it. Well, I do speak it a little bit. So with English, I fully understand it. Only you know, my sentences might be a little bit out of shape because, well, I'm literally translating for myself to speak to other people, so it requires more thinking. Probably that's the word. I'm quite happy upon how much I'm already learning so far from English and Dutch itself on a language barrier. Like, how do you know that if you speak Dutch and the English person can understand it? It's like, well, a Dutch person, if it speaks English, you will definitely notice, because that's how Dutch people speak. And I mean, really, the accent of Dutch is quite recognizable. It's like talking American, but then with a farmer accent on it. Yes, and then most of these sentences are chopped down into pieces. So literally the sentences are butchered and are literally. So they're all literal. It's literally like You're going to the bathroom? Well, congratulations. That person is going to the bathroom. Or, I bought myself some potatoes. Congratulations, you bought yourself some potatoes. But if a Dutch person would say that, I will buy myself some potatoes. You can already hear what I mean here. Or, how are you doing today? It is a fine night. I bought some dinner and it is Chinese food for today. See? So you speak like Arnold Schwarzenegger almost. That's typical. That's typical Dutch. That's typical Dutch accent. It's very funny, but it's not with the German accent in it. It's more like the Dutch accent with the Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of vocabulary. So it's quite funny. It's a lovely blast because most people are like, oh my god, please speak normal, and I'm trying to do my very best to well, I actually did it correctly. I hid it once. I hid it already my accent properly by speaking normal English instead of potato language, because that's exactly how people see Dutch. They speak with this harsh way of speaking English words out, and then most likely they had the wrong pronunciations with it. It's one of those things that you cannot prepare for. It's one of the best things is like if you go find some Dutch coaches for football, and you hear them speak out what they're gonna plan to do this year. We're gonna be winning today, and and you hear them out, and they're Dutch. The Dutch coaches, and they will speak English, then well, you will know that they are speaking English. Well, you know that they are from Dutch country because well, it's very recognizable. It's very, and I mean very, very recognizable. It is like a thick accent, like really thick. But of course, you can also have like different accents. Like if I would say. If a German person was speaking English, for instance, I can already notice because, well, they have this kind of accent to it. I don't know how to describe it. Most likely, if it is heavily German, so if it is a German person that tries to speak English, you would even hear it far better because then they would like to pronounce the words in a German way. So. Like Kreisverkehr, something like that. Like, a crossroad, you have Kreisverkehr, so they will say like Crossroad. Yeah, see, that's how the accent works. So yeah, they will not butcher the word, but they would shorten the pronunciation, most likely. And have some problems with the S and U, yes, with a U. That is probably the best pronunciation on how to get things done. And I really like how German people speak because it's still understandable language. I still can understand quite properly. It's just that, well, it's a little bit of another level on my end because, well, you have German language and you have Dutch language. Both languages are almost the same, but they have different words for different things, which is quite problematic because, you have a crossroad, and then you have a Kreisverkehr, and then you have, well, what should it be? I have no idea. Well, technically, if it is a Kreisverkehr, it should be a roundabout, if I'm correct, because it is technically a roundabout that is going to be pronounced with a crossroad. But yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult issue with pronunciations and translations. It's a little bit confusing. That's why I have sometimes difficulty, finding the right words for English because, well, I don't live in a place where English is spoken normally because everybody is speaking Dutch, regardless of who they are, what they are. They will speak Dutch. You can just go on the street and ask somebody, "Hey, how's the weather today?" And then people will just say out loud, yeah, the weather is good. How are you doing today? And then, you know, you get that kind of conversation. So everybody will speak Dutch, regardless of who they are, because well, that's how the Dutch country works. Like, it's not like, oh no, it's a tourist place and everybody will speak English. No, absolutely not. I have been in some places where they speak English sometimes, but that's more like, you know, near places where they want to have the tourist places, so they will speak English because, you know, they want to see tourists. But if you would spot the Dutch people around it, they will just casually ignore and walk a big roundabout around the tourist attractions because, well, Dutch people don't care about tourism. Most of the times, they will just want to do their work. They just want to make, you know, work and go to the grocery store and buy some cake. Yeah, exactly. Just buy some cake, regular cake. Not big cake, no special cake, no just casual cake. It's one of those things that is quite amazing to see. Like, yeah, what should a regular Dutch person do? They will go to the grocery store, buy some bread, buy some milk, buy some, then go to the butcher and get some food and get some meat, and then they will just, you know, casually leave. Most likely, you know, they will go around 6. They will buy themselves the dinner from the food stores, and then, you know, prep the dinner. So that's most likely that's a normal regular thing here. And when you look at if you look at the big cities, it's probably like, you know, people are going to shop, but the people that are going to shop are probably almost non Dutch people, because, well, technically where I live, it's like really close to the German border, so most likely it's gonna be another German Monday or German Sunday or German Saturday. So yeah, we have a lot of tourism about, you know, shops, because, well, the shops here are actually cheaper probably than in Germany. I don't know how that works and how people are like, oh wow, that happens, or oh well. I have no idea how that actually happened, that Germans like to shop in our country. I have no idea how that actually happened in the first place, because technically they should have cheaper they would have cheaper things. Because if I look at the fuel prices, for instance, and you go from the Dutch fuel station or the German fuel station, you will be instantly seeing the difference. Like, that's 10 cents cheaper. Wow. Yeah, well, technically 10 cents should be not a very problematic thing, but 10 cents is like, let's see, 10 cents is a lot when you want to, you know, pour some gasoline in your tank, or some, yeah, gasoline. Let's put some gasoline in the tank. But yeah, it's quite fun to see. That's why most likely, you know, we as Dutch people always go find the cheapest prices to do our bidding. So yeah, we go eating. Well, I always try to. I prefer to go outside eating. So, well, if I'm going outside eating, I would prefer to go to the German border, because technically it's far cheaper, because you get more for less, and that's a very, very good thing to have. And that's actually one of the most favorite things about it. You know, you live on the border, so you can go ice skating on the German border. You get some good old-fashioned German food, and then when you're coming home, you know, you're seeing that it is raining outside. Why? Because it's a frog country that is really, really wet, and I mean wet to the bone. Because I believe last year this year it was even the worst. Heavy rainfall. Who would expect that? I don't know. We're living we're living below sea level, so yeah, it's all watery. Well, technically, where I live, it's not below sea level, but yeah, it's a very wet country. So yeah, being and getting to places where it is, you know, cheaper to buy stuff and get good food, oh, count me in. And I like that. I really like about that the Netherlands is so close to most other popular places. Like it's only a 6-hour ride to Denmark. It's like, what? 6-hour ride? Yeah, technically it's only a 6-hour ride to get to Denmark border, and then you can enjoy your vacation there. So that's how big the Netherlands is. It's literally, you can ride through it without even noticing it, because that's how tiny it is technically. But it does have some. It has some very good. It has some very good. It has some very good bakeries and very good cheese, and that sells really good. That sells really good. Because if I would ask some elderly people to, like, where would you rather go to the supermarket or to the bakery and the butcher, and they will all say the butcher and the bakery because it's cheaper. Well, technically it's not cheaper, but it is cheaper for them because the supermarket doesn't allow to slice for one person only, and that is a very, very, very annoying thing. Well, at least, that's my experience with it. I had to do, when I was home alone and I had to cook for more. I had to cook for only myself. I always went to the butcher instead of going to the supermarket for the meat. Why? Because technically the supermarket always sells for 4 times instead of 1. And the main problem is with that, if I would prepare some food, then technically I can maximally, I would buy too much, so some of it will get spoiled. There you go. Jeez Louise. That's a lot. So yeah, because the other half will get spoiled, it is very not profitable. And let's see. How much do we need to do? Oh, we only need to do this part. We're almost there. Let's put some more lines on and see if we can get some more beautiful lines in, like here and right over here. We can add some more like that, and we can add some. Let's put some lines right here as well, and a line right there. Yes, all right, good. So yeah, it was a major problem that was definitely a thing that I had to work around with. Because of all that stuff that is happening, the main issue that is that, you want to buy some food but you cannot buy that much food for that much. It prevented me from, buying in stocks because, well, you don't want to spoil food, and, well, making food warming it up a second time is not as tasteful as getting it fresh one time. So what I actually did was figuring out, like, well, if I do want to have meat in my food dishes in the evening, how do I get it cheap? How can I get a profit? How can I make it as cheap as possible without wasting too much food? So every day I went to the butcher. I went to the grocery store. I went to the grocery store. I went to the butcher, and sometimes I went to the supermarket to scout for cheap food and cheap vegetables, and see, like, all right, what could I make from this that only will cost €5? So I only had €5. I will tell you this, it's not a lot. It's very, very not a lot. But because I only had €5, I could make myself a lot of stuff. I came to the realization that, well, €5 is not a lot. Of course not for like a very strong person as I need a very decent amount of food, even though, I might be a very skinny person, but I'm very energy inefficient. Yeah, that's the problem. And well, I need food. I definitely need food. I'm always hungry, so therefore I need food. So finding a good alternative instead of junk food, I had to look for something. And even junk food here is very expensive. It's like what, already $9 for a whole menu. It's like, ugh, no thank you. Well, €9. $9, €9, it's almost the same. So I prefer to use that kind of reference. And that is a really, really bad thing, by the way. Because of junk food being so expensive, it's actually far more cheaper to get actually healthy food. Even though the healthy food is hard to come by because, well, you need to find the right places, you need to find the right things to get the right amount of resources. So I went to the vegetable store to see if they had something like pak soy and if they had something like leek and some onions. Well, they had them. So I had to figure out like, all right, how much do I need and how much do I need to pay for it? But because the vegetable store doesn't because the vegetable store does it on weight instead of price per product. There you go, per product. It's far cheaper. And because it's cheaper, because it's only weight, so you can just pick up the most measliest thing that you need because you only need this for, well, taste instead of real food, so therefore you don't want to waste much money on it, so it's only 20 cents maybe or 40 cents. I had ones that I had for €1.50. I bought the vegetables. For €2 I bought the meat, and then the rest was and then for the rest of the money I had left, I bought the rice. Oh well, this time I went noodles instead, so I made myself the noodle soup. That noodle soup was used for 2 days. And because I could use it for 2 days, it was like literally a big giant meat soup that was... Oh, it was so good. The chicken meat soup was so good. So yeah, noodle soup with chicken, with grilled chicken. Oh, so good. But it was very cheap. €5. That's for 2 days. Oh, that's an experience in a long... And I have not experienced cheapness in a long time. And because that is a thing, because you want to make sure that everything that you do is not as expensive as it can get, you're looking for alternatives on finding stuff. So you will avoid things like, what was it actually that I've avoided big time? I once avoided, I believe, pak soy once because it was so expensive. I was like, wow. €1 and 30 cents for one whole pak soy. Yeah, that's too expensive. I cannot buy. Then I will not be able to buy some meat. So I went to the vegetable store. I bought some leek, and I bought some potatoes, and I bought some carrots. No. I bought winter carrot. Yes, I bought one whole winter carrot. And one leek. So I bought a leek, a winter carrot, and 3 potatoes. Wow, how much did that cost? Almost absolutely nothing. €1.30. So yeah, then once I came to the meats, when I went to the butcher was like, well, what do you need today? Well, I need exactly this. How much? 200 grams of this food. And he gave me 200 grams of that food exactly. And what was it? I believe it was how do you say that one? Oh, that's a very hard one. It's a rookworst. Yeah, how do you say that in bloody damn English? Rookworst. I believe I can look it up. I believe it is something with sausage, but probably is something with sausage, but it is Google Translator because I need to know. Google Translator, please help me in this endeavor. Dutch. Yes, Dutch. And then we're gonna go for Rookwurst. Alright, it's called a smoked sausage. There you go. Don't get wrong that it is a smoked sausage, alright? The smoked sausage you bring on you cook it and then, you know, it tastes very good. So yeah. I did that with some stamp. I stamped all of it together and then boom, I had some good old-fashioned food. But of course I did not mash it. I didn't mash it together in the pan. I actually mashed it on I mashed only the potatoes and the leek and the carrots and the carrot, because since that if you add the meat to it, it will spoil really quickly. So by just, you know, because I didn't do that again, I could just reuse the stamp again the day afterward that, and I actually bought something else. I bought some other meat. I have no idea what the name is for that in English, honestly. It's literally just called gehakt stuff. Huh, the word. It's just a stick made out of meat, alright? Stick meat. There you go, stick meat. Easy word, easy life. I don't know if it's the real word, but I don't care this time because, well, it's very difficult sometimes to get things right. Alright. Now that we have done this, how much time do we have left? That's always the question on most cases. We're almost at 50. Alright, fine. I think I will leave it then there. And then tomorrow I will just, and then, you know, Monday I will finish this off and then just start the coloring as well. Alright. So, this actually looks quite pretty good. I like it. Alright, save, and here you go, put that back in. Alright, so, I hope you all have enjoyed for today, and I hope you all liked it, and I hope I'll see you all next time. Until then, I wish you all a lovely day, and bye!